Part 6. Dressed as a mother-in-law, she leads the whole family to turn over. Author, Bamboo Fence Tea. Chapter 51. Chapter 51. Yang Lao builds a house. Noisy, noisy. Isn't the autumn harvest tiring enough for you? You are all too busy to go back and serve the men and children. As soon as the village chief entered the door, he first talked about the women who came over to quarrel, and then shouted at the top of his voice, "Yang Do." Yang Lao had to come out of the room. The village chief got angry when he saw him. "What's the matter with you? Your mother-in-law makes trouble every day. She can't control her, so she's no longer a man? Let me tell you, the whole village has never seen such troubles in your family. In the past, the old man just tolerated the Jian family and the Zhang family. Now that the Zhang family has moved out and reformed, why is your mother-in-law even more serious? If the Jian family is outraged again, your family will not be in the village. Be a good person." The village chief's words were very serious, and Yang Lao lost his dignity. He wanted to say MRSGN, but when he thought about that day, he just yelled at MRSGN in the field, and when MRSGN came back, she gave up her job and didn't even wash her clothes or cook any food. Lying on the bed pretending to be dead, he said a few words to Qian's wife and got angry. He can't be hit or scolded, and he can't do anything when others are cheating. Seeing his cowardly look, the village chief was so angry that he almost couldn't breathe. You. I really don't know what to say. By the way, didn't you say that you will move out after the autumn harvest? When will you start working? Yang Lao became more and more guilty and hesitantly said, "I just finished my work and saved a little bit of adobe at home, but it's not enough." "Let me see how much you have saved." The village chief was not easy to fool. When he saw the 2 or 3 pieces of adobe, he couldn't sit still. "Is this the adobe you have saved for several months?" "It's not as much as I saved in one day." Yang Do, don't forget that you signed a contract with the Zhang family. When your mother-in-law did things without leaving any escape route, Zhang would definitely not show mercy to you. If you hadn't moved out before winter, do you believe Zhang could have made this matter a big deal? Don't come to me then." "Village chief, I know. The autumn harvest has just been completed. I also need time to work. If it doesn't work, I will go to the village to borrow adobe bricks and return them slowly later." Yang Lao also knew that they were being unreasonable, so he explained with a blushing face. The village chief breathed a sigh of relief and said, "Hurry up now. Go and ask anyone in the village who has adobe bricks. If you save enough today, we will find someone to start working on them tomorrow. We will move out within this month." Qian didn't want to move at all, so she reluctantly snorted and walked into the room with her buttocks twisted. Yang Lao didn't really want to move, so he was taking so long. After hearing the village chief's urging words, his face drooped, and he muttered, "Isn't the big house still building a house? My father and the 3rd child are both there. I can't come over to help when I'm working." Drink. The Zhang family calculated their wages for them. "It's 10 cents a day, not a penny less. If you take 10 cents, more people will work for your family." The village chief was so angry that he raised his eyebrows and raised his hands. "Akimbo." Yang Laorshan said nonchalantly, "It's all from my own family, so what kind of salary is it?" Yang Do. "Why didn't we know you were so shameless? Oh, your father, your brother, and you are a family, but not the same family as the Zhang family. The Zhang family broke off the relationship with you too, but not with you. They broke off the relationship, and even a woman was given her salary, so why do you, a grown man, want to have for free?" Yang Jun, who came to watch the excitement, happened to hear this and couldn't help but ridicule Yang. "The second one has a meal." Yang Lao couldn't hold his head up when he was told, and said as if he was angry, "My family really has no money. I will work slowly by myself, and I will do as much as I can." The village chief didn't want him to grind. If he grinded for one more day, Qian would cause him a lot of trouble in the village. Yang Jun, if you have nothing to do, go help and let Yang Do take care of the food. You can do it for half a day. First, help them build a room that they can live in, and let them take care of the rest. Yang Jun was reluctant at first. When he heard that he only had to work for half a day and take care of the food, he immediately agreed. It was just a room. 2 or 3 people can finish it in 2 or 3 days, and it can save some food for the family. Qian was so angry that the village chief kept pressing forward and began to curse in the yard again. However, she did not dare to scold the village chief directly, so she scolded the villagers who were watching the fun, scolded Zhang, and along the way, she accused Old Man Yang and Mr. Li of being partial. The couple is snobbish and looks down on the second wife and so on. In short, she scolded everything she could. Ms. Li originally wanted to teach Ms. Jian a lesson, but then she thought about it. Tomorrow the second child and his family would have to go to the west of the village to build a house. It was estimated that they would have to move out in the next few days, so she endured it. Zhang Ning laughed when he heard that the village chief urged Yang Lao to build a house, and asked Yang Erden to send some wild fruits to the village chief's house. Old Man Yang couldn't help but smile with relief when he saw this. He finally knew how to behave. After the autumn harvest, there are gradually more and more people in the mountains. Even on the Qingfeng mountainside, many people go into the mountains to collect firewood and pick wild fruits, and some people set traps to catch pheasants and rabbits. Yang Sizhuang accidentally fell into someone else's trap and was almost injured. Zhang Ning saw that this was not a solution, so he simply forbade the children to go further up the mountain. Anyway, there were no more melons and wild fruits, and there were a lot of wild fruits. There were more people to pick them, and the rest were almost invisible. Even if there were, it's not their children's turn to pick them, so they might as well stay at home and finish the house in peace. The children were quite happy to stay at home to help. After all, they also wanted to move into a new house as soon as possible. With 2 main workers, Yang Lao-san and Yang Lao-tu, and a few children to help, the farmhouse was finally completed 1 month after the autumn harvest. The gate of the entire courtyard opens to the east. There is a row of 6 connected houses to the east, and there is also a row of 6 connected houses to the north, connected to each other. There are 2 rows of 4 tiled houses in the middle, and a high courtyard is built to the west. A small door was opened in the wall, and a row of hay sheds and a row of chicken coops were built. The buildings were not neatly built, and there was only as much land as there was to circle around. There was also a small piece of land for growing vegetables. Facing the dirt road to the north, there is a big banyan tree below, which is directly surrounded by a wall. This is the yard where the family will live in the future. This is the first time such a courtyard has been built in Rongsha village. Many villagers came to see the rare thing. After asking, everyone was just envious, but no one said anything gossip. After all, they saved the materials themselves and did it at their own expense. It's about mental effort, not money, what can they say? Those who saw Zhang Ning's new home instantly changed their view of her, and even praised her for being virtuous and capable. Zhang Ning didn't know this news at first, but she only found out about it when Ms. Zhang came to talk to her. Seeing her shock, Ms. Zhang covered her mouth and chuckled, "You don't know, many people in the village now say that Yang Hu is unlucky. I think that's not the case. Look, without him, your life will be worse. It's getting better." Zhang knew that the relationship between Zhang and Yang Hu was not good, and the 2 of them were fighting like blackbirds, so there was nothing taboo about saying these things. Zhang Ning smiled and said nothing. Zhang came up to Zhang Ning mysteriously and whispered, "You know that Yang Do and his family will have a new house the day after tomorrow, right?" End of this chapter. Dressed as a mother-in-law, she leads the whole family to turn over. Author, Bamboo Fence Tea. Chapter 52. Chapter 52 The Haunting Qian Family. Not sure Zhang Ning was a little surprised. This was the first time she heard this news. Ms. Zhang thought Zhang Ning would object to this matter, but she didn't expect this reaction. She was instantly convinced. I thought you would be interested, but I didn't expect you to be interested in me. The village chief was worried that you would go to the village to cause trouble again, eagerly urging them to move. You don't know, Qian almost hates the village chief. He often gossips behind the village chief's back. Zhang Ning's lips twitched slightly. She was not surprised that Qian could do such a thing. Ms. Zhang was so angry that she gritted her teeth. It's true that Yang Do and his wife are nothing. There were 4 people who went to work, and I asked them all. Ms. Qian actually gave them wild vegetables to eat. She also said that her family was poor and they couldn't eat. Remove the meat. Everyone murmured a few words at first and didn't say anything. But a while ago, someone discovered that Qian was secretly feeding the family meat and letting the workers eat wild vegetables and become mush. Who can tolerate this? At that moment, someone went to the village chief and said that he would not need to pay for the meal but wanted wages. How could a tough guy like Qian agree to it? No, there was another commotion, and in the end it was your mother-in-law who came forward to ensure that everyone would eat well before suppressing the matter. At present, they have built 3 houses, half a stove house, and a straw shed, which is said to be used for storing sundries. There are no people in the west of the village. They should build another yard, but they say nothing. Listen, I even said something to the person who suggested it, tisk tisk tisk. I really don't know how to say it. Zhang Ning said, that's their business. Fortunately, everyone has said it. If something happens in the future, it has nothing to do with the villagers. As long as they move away, I can feel more at ease. From the west to the east of the village, it takes at least 2/4 of an hour to walk. With Qian's lazy temperament, she will never be so diligent and come to the east of the village every day to keep an eye on her. She can also breathe a sigh of relief. That's right. Oh, I almost forgot about business. There is a big gathering the day after tomorrow. Do you want to go to town? Ms. Zhang said so well that she almost forgot the purpose of coming here today. Zhang Ning thought about the fact that his family was going to have a new house in a few days, and there were still some things he needed to buy, so he nodded immediately. I'm going to do it. That's a good relationship. Please do me a favor when the time comes. Ms. Zhang was mysterious. Zhang Ning's curiosity was immediately aroused. On the day of the market, she left the house carrying the mushrooms she had saved in the morning and met Zhang at the entrance of the village. There is a woman beside Mr. Zhang, who looks to be in her early 30s. She is probably similar in temperament to Mr. Zhou. She is shy and reserved, and he dare not look at her seriously. Ms. Zhang introduced, this is my sister-in-law, Yang Jun's mother-in-law. Her maiden name is He. You can just call her He Hua. He Hua is the Zhang family who lent money to a Yang for treatment at that time. You can call her Her Aning. He Hua then secretly glanced at Zhang Ning and smiled at her. Zhang Ning was very generous and exchanged casual greetings. Zhang lowered her voice and said to Zhang Ning, I'm mainly looking for you today to help me see someone. Who is it? Zhang Ning looked curious. Ms. Zhang was a little happy and couldn't stop the smile on her face. It's time for our Xiao to get married. The autumn harvest happened to be over, and the family had saved some money, so I wanted to help him find a girl. Hurry up and book the marriage. This is a good thing. Congratulations. Zhang Ning looked sincere, which made Zhang even more happy. The 3 of them walked into Dashan town chatting and laughing. Zhang and He Hua had to sell things, and Zhang Ning also had to go to Dashan Inn. They all arranged a place to meet and separated. Ms. Qian also came to catch the big market this time. When she saw Zhang Ning, she followed him secretly without thinking. When she saw Zhang Ning going to Dashan Inn, she immediately chased after him. When shopkeeper Jin saw Jiangning, he immediately put down the food in his hands and came over to greet him. "Hey, Mrs. Jiang. What have you been busy with at this time? The flowers I've been waiting for your things are almost gone. If you don't send mushrooms over, my inn is about to close." "It's not that exaggerated," Jiangning laughed, poured out the contents of the basket, and told the names of the mushrooms and how to make them one by one. Shopkeeper Jin remembered to be serious and waited until Jiangning explained clearly before letting someone weigh and settle the account. As soon as Jiangning put the money in his pocket, Qian rushed in and shouted at the top of his voice, "Sister-in-law! What good things are you selling? Let me take a look." Shopkeeper Jin saw Jiangning's long face and immediately asked the waiter to take the things to the kitchen. Qian was immediately unhappy. "Hey! What's going on with you? I haven't even looked at you yet, just take him away." Shopkeeper Jin asked displeasedly, "Should I stay in a hotel? Or have a meal? What's for dinner? I'm her younger brother and sister." Qian put her hands on her hips and looked very arrogant. Jiangning immediately denied it. "Don't. I have nothing to do with you, don't try to get relatives." "Shopkeeper Jin, I'm leaving first, it's cold and there's not much in the mountains. I don't know how many things I can bring here next time. I think you can adjust the dishes based on the situation," Jiangning suggested seriously. Shopkeeper Jin sighed, "There's nothing we can do about it. Please pay more attention to Mrs. Jiang and try to find more. I can increase the price. Don't worry, I will definitely take care of your needs if there are any," Jiangning said and walked out of the Das Han Inn. Qian didn't want her to leave, but Jiangning was so agile that she couldn't stop him. When Qian chased her out of the Das Han Inn, there was no sign of Jiangning anywhere. Jiangning here immediately went to Buzwang to order cotton after getting rid of the Qian family. Cotton has long been popular in this dynasty, but the price is more expensive. Poor people cannot afford it, but ordinary people can afford it, but it is only used to fill jackets. I would definitely not want to use it to make a quilt. She has studied the winter quilts in the village. They are stuffed with a variety of things, such as reed flowers, straw, chicken feathers, and duck feathers. As long as they can keep out the cold, everyone uses any tricks. The stuffed quilts look big and bulky, and the effect is not as good as the quilt is good. So she planned to put all her efforts into it and put quilts and cotton padded jackets all over her house. Once the quilts were ready, she would move to a new home and live in a new house. After ordering the quilt at Buzwang, Jiangning immediately went to the appointed place to meet the Jiang family. The two of them were selling and buying things, and their baskets were full. On the other hand, Jiangning was empty, with nothing. Fortunately, Jiang and Hihua were not talkative people and did not ask any further questions. Led by Jiang, the three of them came to the entrance of an alley. Jiangning's eyes widened when he saw this alley, and he covered his mouth with a look of shock. "Is this the girl's house?" Ms. Jiang nodded repeatedly. "I heard from the matchmaker that this is the right place." "What? Do you know?" Jiangning quickly shook his head. "I don't know if I've heard of it or not, but I know a salesman who lives here." "Yo, what a great relationship, we live in the same place and we are familiar with each other, and we can also ask around." Mrs. Jiang was overjoyed, feeling that Jiangning was a blessing given to her by God. "Hurry and pull Jiangning into the alley." When Jiangning knocked on the door of Anyang Liang's house, she was very surprised by the person who appeared. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dressed as a mother-in-law, she leads the whole family to turn over. Author, Bamboo Fence Tea. Chapter 53. Chapter 53 Buying Materials. When Ma saw Jiangning, she immediately remembered the last time she took the crucian carp. If Jiangning Fei hadn't said that Anyang Liang and his wife didn't pay, she would have eaten the fish long ago. This time when I saw Zhang Ning's hands were empty and there didn't seem to be anything in his backpack, he immediately grimaced and was about to slam the door. Zhang Ning was the first to hold the door frame. Let's come to see Mr. N to buy something. Mr. N, MRSN, are you at home? She knew Ma's virtues and deliberately stretched her neck to shout into the yard. Ma was so angry that he cursed, "What are you doing? You are not welcome here." MRS, who trotted out with her child in her arms, and hurried over to open the door. "Auntie, it's you. I'm going to the market today, and my husband-in-law is out. He will be back later. You guys come in first and sit down." Madame Ma was still blocking the way. Madame, who immediately darkened her face, "Auntie, this is my home, I make the decision, you give way, you are blocking the way." Her tone was unkind, and Mr. Ma immediately rolled up his sleeves and started to argue with Mr. Hu. MRS, who didn't even fight with her. She put the child down and pushed her out. Mr. Ma stubbornly refused to leave. "I'm telling you, Mr. Hu. Don't think that you can take charge of Yang Liang's house without your parents-in-law. This time Fang Fang will have to come up with 200 yuan if she wants to kiss him. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude." MRS, who pushed her out of the door harder and harder. The child was so frightened that she cried loudly. It took a lot of effort for her to close the door tightly. Mr. Ma scolded him outside for a while before leaving. Zhang and Hihua looked embarrassed. They were not here to buy anything, but they encountered this scene. It was hard to explain. MRS, who breathed a sigh of relief, picked up the child and led the three of them into the house. She smiled sheepishly and said, "My husband-in-law is a little unreasonable and makes you laugh. By the way, what do you want to buy this time?" "What if? I can decide what I have at home, but if I don't have anything at home, I can only wait until my husband-in-law comes back." Zhang Ning sat down and said, "I want some cloth for making quilts. I don't know what the price is at Anhuolang. If it's suitable, I'll buy more." Upon hearing this, Mr. Hu immediately became interested in buying fabrics again. After putting the child down, she went out to pour 3 bowls of hot water for the 3 of them. As soon as she left, MRS Zhang asked in a low voice, "Anning, do you really want to buy something? Don't spend money randomly." Zhang Ning smiled and shook his head, "I'm serious, Mr. N has a lot of good products here, which are high quality and cheap. I missed a good piece of material last time, and it costs 10 cents per foot. It must be sold for at least 20 or 30 cents outside. It's really so cheap." Zhang and Hihua were both a little surprised. MRS, who came in and found that the 3 women were looking at her with hot eyes. She felt confused and said, "Auntie, this time is really timely. The autumn harvest has just passed. My husband-in-law said that everyone must start preparing clothes for winter, so he came in specially. We need to buy winter cloth, which is warm and thick. Of course, new cloth is definitely expensive. We only buy it for more than 20 yuan, so it costs 30 yuan per foot." Zhang and Hihua couldn't help but feel a little disappointed when they heard this. MRS, who took in their reactions, smiled, and said, "But this is the price of new cloth. My husband knew that many people would be reluctant to spend this money, so he made a special trip and asked the traveling merchants in Fukan. No, he actually came across one. It was said to be 2 boxes of old cloth left over from last year. It got wet due to walking on the waterway. It was not discovered in time at the time. By the time it was discovered, it was all dry, leaving a residue that could not be removed. The water stains are particularly ugly in circles. I ran a big cloth shop, and the people who came in and out were rich people. I didn't like this kind of material, so I just went to the lower counties and towns to try selling it. My husband-in-law received a big box, and everyone was acquaintances. Auntie has also helped us. If you want it, I will definitely give you the lowest price." Zhang Ning and the other 3 were all moved. MRS who immediately went to the back room to get the goods. There were more than 30 pieces of materials in various colors. There were at least 6 or 7 colors to choose from. Each piece was almost 1 foot long and 5 feet wide. It was very suitable for making a quilt cover. If it was not enough, it could be used. When put together, there is a lot of room for manipulation. Zhang Ning was very surprised. He spread out a piece of material and found that it did have the water-stained circles that Hu mentioned, like ripples. This did not look good to them, but in Zhang Ning's view, this kind of material could be brought with him directly. The texture has no effect. MRS who saw that she liked it and immediately said, "If you want it, I will give you 14 cents per foot. If you want more, I can give you a cent cheaper." If Zhang Ning hesitated for even a second now, she would feel sorry for MRS Hu. She immediately said, "My family is going to build a new house. We don't have anything. All the quilts are made again, and the quilt cover is made of your material. There are 7 people in my family, my parents-in-law have a family of 9, and they need to keep 2 beds as spares, along with the mattresses. Calculate how much we will need." Who took a breath of air, "Auntie, you need a lot of ingredients." Zhang Ning nodded slightly. "In addition to making quilts and mattresses, I also want to buy some more materials for my family to make clothes for them to wear during the Chinese New Year this year." At this time, both Zhang and He Hua were almost shocked. Which family in the village has every child wearing new clothes during the New Year? After all, what the eldest brother can't wear is given to the second child, what the second child can't wear is given to the third child, and what the third child can't wear is passed on to the next one by one, until the new clothes become old clothes. Zhang Ning really wants to wear them for all the children. Put on new clothes, and you don't know what gossip will be spread in the village. Zhang said with some worry, "Would you be too conspicuous by doing this?" Zhang Ning shook his head. "Why are you so eye-catching? You don't know the situation of my family. In the past few years, I never thought about living a good life, and the children didn't care about it. Now that I have woken up, can I think of ways to make them happy? Besides, now, my boss is working outside to make money, so I have to make him a new set of clothes. Erden is busy with everything at home. He has worked so hard for a whole year and doesn't even have a new set of clothes. It's unreasonable. The boss and the second child are both there, but what will the next few think without them? The most important thing is that they don't even have any clothes that are not old or new." Zhang and He Hua thought about the Yang Data brothers and sisters. It seemed that they had never worn new clothes. Moreover, they had runny noses all year round and were as dirty as wild monkeys. It was only during this period that they tidied up decently. A little. Since Zhang Ning wanted to buy so much material, Hu calculated the price at 13 cash per foot. Zhang and He Hua immediately gritted their teeth and pulled out a few feet of material. Zhang wanted to prepare one for Yang Xiao, while He Hua wanted to prepare one for each of the 2 children. Everyone is happy after buying the materials. Zhang Ning then said to Zhang, "We are already acquaintances after doing business. If you want to ask anything, just ask. Madam is very safe. If she agrees, it will definitely be good." Zhang Ning's words were very helpful to MRS Hu. She smiled sheepishly and said, "Madam, please stop praising me, I'm too embarrassed to see anyone. What do you want to ask?" End of this chapter. Dressed as a mother-in-law, she leads the whole family to turn over. Author, Bamboo Fence Tea. Chapter 54. Chapter 54, The Person You Are Looking At. I just want to ask you about a girl. I don't know her name. The matchmaker said that the 2 brothers in her family are called Anjalin. I heard that she is a government official. One of the 2 brothers is called Anyangren and the other is Anjalin. Their name is Anyangzhong, one of them is studying in school and the other is working as a waiter in a restaurant. He Hua had no idea who Zhang was talking about to Yang Xiao. After hearing this condition, she almost had the word envy written on her face, while Zhang Ning looked suspicious. How could a matchmaker with such a good condition go to the countryside to offer it? As soon as Mrs. Zhang finished speaking, Mrs. Hu choked on her own saliva and coughed violently. Her slender eyes widened. It took her a long time to come back to her senses. She opened her mouth and asked dryly, "Matchmaker, did you say anything else? How about that girl?" "That must have been said," Ms. Zhang said with a look of longing. "The matchmaker said that the girl has a docile temperament and will bring good things to her. Her appearance is known to everyone, her voice is more beautiful than an actor's, and her is round and she will give birth to a son." Zhang Ning couldn't help but squirted all the tea in his mouth. When this matchmaker opens her mouth, a toad can be praised as a swan. Mrs. Hu nodded repeatedly, "That's right. I only heard that the matchmaker didn't tell the truth, but you can't just make it up. I don't know what to say about this. To be honest, what you just saw, that woman is my husband-in-law's aunt, her husband is in jail and she has a son and a daughter. If I'm not mistaken, my husband-in-law's cousin is the girl you want to inquire about." Zhang and He Hua took a breath of air. What a coincidence, the two sisters looked at each other in disbelief. Seeing Mrs. Hu's reaction, Mrs. Zhang couldn't help but feel a little bit in her heart, and suddenly had a bad premonition. "MSN, tell her what you have to say, I can bear it." Mrs. Hu struggled for a long time before sighing, "You are all friends of Aunt Zhang. Aunt Zhang has helped me, and I can't cheat you out of conscience. To be honest, my husband-in-law's cousin is really hard to describe. Let's talk about their family's situation first. The uncle is a night-scented person. Strictly speaking, he is a government official. But most people can't stand this job, and all he earns is hard-earned money. Her two brothers, and Yangzhong, the eldest, works as a waiter in a restaurant, and Yangren, the second brother, is studying in a school, but that's about it. He must have been studying for 5 years. I heard that he can't even recite the 3-character classic. Obviously, he is not that material, but who knows that the eldest aunt has relatives in her natal family who are studying and doing well in school, but the eldest aunt will force the second child to continue studying no matter what, which is a bottomless pit, and the good life will be hard to come by. Lao San is the girl you want to inquire about, alas. I'm telling you secretly, please don't tell anyone. That girl learned from her mother. Instead of learning the good things, she learned all the bad things. She is sharp-tongued and unreasonable. At such a young age, she can stand in an alleyway and quarrel with a woman. She doesn't do anything serious, but does a lot of ridiculous things. She often gets into trouble and asks people to help her deal with the aftermath. Isn't that going to cause trouble? She looks a lot like my aunt, think about it for yourselves. He Hua swallowed her saliva fiercely and muttered, "That man doesn't look very kind-hearted." Zhang Ning glanced at her dejectedly. Not only is he not kind-hearted, he also has a mean look. He's almost like Mr. Qian. Ms. Zhang was originally quite depressed, but she was amused by Zhang Ning's words. Zhang Ning was speechless. Everything I said is true. If Qian was older, she would definitely be a pair of sisters with that person. Ha ha ha. Zhang and others laughed to tears. Who continued, "As for the sound, I will learn one for you to see." As she spoke, Mrs. Hu pinched her throat, raised an orchid finger, and said in a strange voice, cousin, are you making delicious food again? Why didn't you give grandma some? She's already greedy." What is this? My cousin bought it new. I like it so much, give it to me." Mrs. Zhang was so angry that she banged the table on the spot and yelled, "It's so shameless. What's the difference between this and grabbing it in the open?" Mrs. Hu nodded tiredly. "Auntie Zhang also knows what auntie is like. Last time Auntie John came to deliver crucian carp, MRS Auntie almost robbed us directly, but Auntie John had an idea and said that we had not paid yet, so she insisted on asking Auntie to pay. The auntie did not take advantage and scolded us for 2 days at her house, which was heard by all the neighbors. Got it? The last person to have a son with a round butt, I think, is that as long as a person gets fat from eating, his will not be round. These days, unless the family is rich, there is still a situation where you can make yourself fat in vain. You can experience it for yourselves. Ms. Zhang was now so angry that she was about to explode. She cursed angrily, "Aunt Kwewa, that black-hearted old pious woman. She cheated me like this." "Aunt Kwewa? Who is it?" He Hua looked confused. They were all from the same family. Why hadn't she heard of this person? Mrs. Zhang said angrily, "It is the sister-in-law of her mother-in-law's cousin who married Yang Liu from our village to Songsha village." He Hua was confused after hearing this. How come my sister-in-law is still in contact with people from Pine Tree village? Zhang was furious and cursed He Hua secretly, "That man lives in the west of our village. Have you really never heard of Yang Jun's cousin's seventh aunt?" Zhang felt embarrassed and didn't want to speak so clearly. Who knew He Hua was so stupid? A pig teammate. Zhang Ning suppressed her laughter for a long time. It was really hard, so she quickly changed the subject. "MSN, thank you for this today, otherwise we would have been deceived if we really went to see the girl. These days, any woman who is plump is considered lucky in everyone's eyes. MRS Ma's daughter has been fat. If she pretends to be fat again, MRS Zhang will not be so excited that she will ask people to come over to marry her, and wait for the raw rice to be cooked. It's too late to regret." The three of them paid, took the materials and left. Zhang Ning bought a lot, so he had to ask Zhang and He Hua to help get some. The three of them had just arrived at the market, and when passing by a restaurant, they met Ma again. Next to Ma was a 28-year-old Chinese girl, about 1.5 meters tall and estimated to weigh about 120 kilograms. For others, it is indeed fat. Madame Ma stretched her neck and kept looking. Madame Zhang was so frightened that she quickly covered her face and pulled Zhang Ning away quickly. When they passed by Ma gave them a fierce look. MRS Zhang was relieved when she walked far away. She looked frightened and stamped her feet in annoyance. Who are those people? It's inexplicable. No, I have to talk to Aunt Kwewa later. She took a pack of candy from me. Zhang was so distressed that she was twitching with pain, and her feet moved faster. Here, Mr. Ma waited around for a long time, but no one came over. He was not a good-tempered person, and soon he started to curse, and his fierce look scared away most of the customers in the restaurant. And Fang Fang twisted the waist of the bucket unhappily. "Auntie, where are the people? Where are the people who are looking at me?" End of this chapter. Dressed as a mother-in-law, she leads the whole family to turn over. Author, Bamboo Fence Tea. Chapter 55. Chapter 55 Soapberry. Ma was so angry that she yelled, "How do I know where that person died? Later I have to ask Quixiang, that old woman. She took 2 eggs from me and did nothing. I have to ask her to double what she ate return." And Fang Fang was very depressed. She glanced at the other tables and couldn't help but swallowed. "Mom, I want to eat pork knuckles." "Eat, eat, eat, I can't hold you back, it's been so long and you just remember to eat." Ma was still cursing while holding back her anger. And Yang Zhon came over with a headache and advised, "Mom, if you don't want to eat, leave quickly. The shopkeeper's face is so dark. What if the shopkeeper fires me if we continue to argue?" And Yang Zhong's monthly money was one of the main sources of income for their family. When Ma heard about it, he quickly took Fang Fang away. And Fang Fang couldn't get anything to eat, and looked unwilling to do so. When she passed by a table of leftovers, she grabbed a handful and put them in her pocket. and Yang Zhong finally coaxed Ma and his daughter away, but as soon as he turned around, he met the shopkeeper's disgusting eyes. Zhang and He Hua helped Zhang Ning deliver the cloth he bought to his home. This was the first time He Hua came to Zhang Ning's house. She didn't know where to look when she saw such a magnificent house, especially when she saw the bright house with tiles. He touched the floor tiles and was completely speechless. When Ms. Zhang saw He Hua's reaction, she laughed and said, "I was just like you when I saw a house like this for the first time. If Ah Xiao's father hadn't been able to do heavy work in the future and the family's money had to be saved, I want to build 2 such houses for Xiao so that he can get married." When Zhang Ning heard this, he said casually, "That's not easy. Just prepare the materials yourself. My father-in-law built this house for us and he couldn't sit still. He said that he would go out to take over the work again. If your family really wants to do it, you can find houses like this from him, they are all in the same village, and the price is easy to find." Zhang originally said it casually, but after hearing what Zhang Ning said, he really took it seriously. "Okay. I will go to Uncle Zhang to inquire about it later." At this time, Lu Ye brought them hot tea. Ms. Zhang had failed to see her daughter-in-law today. Seeing Lu Ye's capable look, she couldn't help but be envious. "If you ask me, Ning's life is better. All my sons are capable. The daughter-in-law he married is also so sensible and filial. If only Ah Xiao could find a wife like Ye Zi." Lu Ye blushed at the praise. "Auntie, that's a compliment." Ms. Zhang added, "Your house is ready, and your mother-in-law can have her grandson after the Chinese New Year." Lu Ye's mouth dropped, and she forced a smile, feeling a little at a loss. Now that she and Yang Data were separated, they might not be able to see each other for a month, so how could they have a baby? But it's hard for her to say such things. At this time, He Hua asked in a low voice, "I heard that Data went to work in another place. When will he come back?" Zhang Ning sipped a glass of water, glanced at Lu Ye, and smiled at He Hua. "He works at the inn, and there are only 2 ladle masters there now. He can't leave. I've thought about it, and I'll let Ye Zi go in 2 days find the big head." Lu Ye looked up at Zhang Ning in disbelief. Zhang Ning explained, "The autumn harvest is over, the house at home is ready, there is nothing important, and there is no need for so many people at home. When you go to Datu's place, you can still help him wash his clothes, talk to him, and, taking care of each other is more useful than staying at home." Zhang and He Hua didn't understand at first, but after listening to Zhang Ning's words, they felt that Lu Ye should go, and they also started to persuade him. Lu Ye nodded with red eyes and agreed. After Ms. Zhang and He Hua left, Lu Ye hurriedly said, "Anyang, the clothes we have made for everyone are ready. My daughter-in-law can take the winter clothes to Songzi town to make them, and then send them back after they are finished." Yang Xiao on the side said with a smile, "Sister-in-law, you still have me at home. I have learned needlework from you for so long, so you can show off your skills." Zhang Ning patted her head lovingly, "That's just right. I bought a lot of winter cloth this time. You can also make one for your grandpa and grandma, but make it for yourself and me first, and then give it to you when it's done." "Master, do it." "Humph. I look down on people." "Just do it." Yang Xiao trotted to pull the cloth. Lu Ye wiped the tears from the corner of her eyes and asked, "Anyang, now that the house is better, have you brought Mian back?" Zhang Ning shook his head, "Wait a little longer. No one from the village will come to pick her up after she has passed the new house. You can tidy up the house in the last row to the west for Mian to live in temporarily. After I finish my work here, I will go to the county. Ask for news. It's not that she's procrastinating, but it's more troublesome to go to the county town. It's better for her as a widow to take someone else with her when she travels far away. The only person she can take with her is Erden. Erden couldn't get away at all before, and even now he's being dragged away by old man Yang. It's good to be able to stay at home for half a day with the ashes of burned shells. She always had to tell old man Yang a reason when she wanted to take Erden to the county seat. Then she would lie again, and the other one would be the Mao brothers. The ancestral hall would be almost repaired in a few days, and she didn't know what the village chief would do with it then. With these two people, she couldn't act rashly at this time and attract the attention of the county government. Yang Xiao looked at the fabric and frowned. "Mom, there are water stains on this, can you deal with it?" Zhang Ning looked in the direction of Qingfeng Mountain uncertainly. The soap berries in the mountains should be bearing fruit at this time. I will go into the mountains to collect some and make soap later to see if they can be removed. Yang Xiao's eyes lit up. "I want to help too." Lu Ye smiled and said, "Then I'll clean up the house now." Zhang Ning wandered around the mountains for a while and finally found a soapberry tree, and quickly asked Yang Xiao to help. The mother and daughter were not greedy for more, and took only enough to go down the mountain. At this moment, Liu Yu also cleaned the house. Yang Santi was specially asked to go to Yang Han's house and tell Mian the situation. When Yang Santi came back, he happened to see Qian carrying things and panting down the mountain, so he couldn't help but followed him out of curiosity. Qian had never done any heavy work. She walked and rested, and occasionally dropped one or two things. After she left, Yang Santi immediately picked them up and ran home. He was about to show off his discovery to Zhang Ning when he happened to bump into Zhang Ning and Yang Xiao packing soap berries, which were exactly the same as what he had in hand. Yang Santi stepped forward in confusion and asked, "Auntie, did you find something smelly and good again?" "This is called sapinduos. I'm going to make some soap." She looked at the thing in Yang Santi's hand and said, "What? You know it too?" Yang Santi shook his head honestly and told what he had just discovered. Lu Ye was working on the side, and his face was confused when he heard this. "Second aunt is not following my mother into the mountains. Does she know what my mother is doing with these things?" Yang Santi shrugged. "Who knows? I think she packed a whole sack and couldn't even carry it. Could it be that the whole tree was removed?" Zhang Ning burst into laughter thinking of that scene. Carrying a sack of soap berries from the east of the village to the west of the village is also a skill. "It has nothing to do with us, so don't worry about it." Here, MRSGN was panting and unable to carry the soapberry to the village. She wanted to find someone to help, but didn't want to alarm the villagers, so she turned to the Mao brothers. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dressed as a mother-in-law, she leads the whole family to turn over. Author, Bamboo Fence Tea. Chapter 56. Chapter 56. Stupid? Clever? The Mao brothers are currently thinking about how to escape from the village. Mao Dali looked at the iron chains tightly locked on their feet, gritted his teeth again, and cursed out loud, "No. We can't go on like this. They won't let us go when the ancestral hall is completed. We have to find a way. Save yourself." Mao Erli's voice was a little low. "Brother, what do you think we should do? The key is with the village chief, and the village chief doesn't carry it with him, so we can't get it at all." As the two were talking, they saw Qian moving this way like a dead dog. The two exchanged glances, stopped, stood up and stared at Qian. Qian stopped 3 feet away from them. When she saw them staring at her without blinking, she immediately spat on the ground, put her hands on her hips and cursed, "What are you looking at? Be careful, I'll dig out your eyeballs to pay for it. Come on, send someone to help me get these things to the west of the village." The Mao brothers did not move. Qian was about to scold again, but Mao Dali said in a deep voice, "Are you blind? Didn't you see that we are all chained?" Qian then lowered his proud head, glanced at it and frowned. "It's really useless. As she spoke, she seemed to be discouraged and wanted to leave with the sack again. Mao Dali stopped the person and said, "Hey. Wait, I can help you carry your things back. The premise is that you help me get the key to unlock the door." "Key? Where is the key?" Qian turned around curiously. Mao Dali hurriedly said, "It is in the hands of the village chief. He has put it away. If you can get the key to help us unlock it, I will help you send the things back intact." "How can I trust you?" Qian is just stupid, but still very smart in some aspects. Mao Dali rolled his eyes and said, "In this case, you can just let one of us go and leave one of us here. Isn't that enough?" Qian thought about it and realized that this was true, and she was immediately moved. In order to prevent others from discovering the bag of things, she hid the things first before going to the village chief's house to steal the key. She was really bad at other things, but she knew how to steal things without any teacher, and she was also very sharp. As soon as she entered the village chief's house, she started chatting with Mrs. Lu and found out where the key was. After leaving, she sneaked into the village secretly. The elder touched the box where the keys were hidden and saw 2 keys inside. She touched one at random and hurried away. When she ran to the ancestral hall, Brother Mao stared at her eagerly. "How is it? Did you find it?" Qian shook a key in his hand. The Mao brothers were a little disappointed, but they endured it in order to escape. They finally got Qian to give them the key, but what they could open was Mao Erli's chain. Mao Dali's face darkened visibly. Seeing Mao Erli quickly unlock the door, his slap fell heavily on Mao Erli's shoulder. "Go early and come back early, don't forget our mission." Mao Erli nodded towards him. "Don't worry, brother, I will definitely rescue you." As he said that, he looked at Qian. "Where is the other key?" Qian immediately turned his face. "What? You still want to escape? Tell you, I can find you a key or let people arrest you again. You. Don't come over. If you dare to mess around, I won't even tell you where it is." Mao Erli couldn't decide whether Qian was bluffing or really daring to break the fish, so he didn't dare to act rashly. Qian thought of his things and immediately said, "How about you help me get my things back and I'll tell you where the key is hidden." Mao Erli turned around and looked at Mao Dali. Mao Dali nodded gloomily. "We agreed, if you dare to trick us." "Humph. What else can you do to me?" Qian is a typical fearless person who doesn't know anything. Mao Erli didn't say a word. He had already helped her carry her things and followed her back. Mr. Qian led the way, and the 2 of them avoided the villagers and returned to the west of the village. After Mao Erli put down the things, he said, "Take me to find the key now. I only told you where the key was hidden, and I didn't say I would take you there." Qian curled his lips and had no intention of taking any action. Mao Erli was angry. From the corner of his eye, he caught sight of Yang Fugui hiding behind the door, and immediately rushed in and pulled him out. Qian was about to call someone. Mao Erli threatened, "You can scream, believe it or not, I will break his neck with just a little force." "Auntie, save me, save me!" Yang Fugui's face turned red and he struggled desperately. You, don't mess around, I'll go with you, I'll just go with you." Qian was really frightened this time, with tears and snot running down her face, and she didn't dare to cry. Mao Erli curled his lips proudly and took Yang Fugui as a hostage, forcing Qian to help him steal the key. Ms. Lu was very puzzled by Ms. Qian's second visit. What's going on? Qian just came to visit to thank the village chief for building a house, but now he didn't know what to say. He hesitated for a long time, unable to speak clearly, and seemed to be in a hurry, sweating profusely, and his face there are also traces of tears and dried nasal mucus on it, which indicates a problem at first glance. She kept wanting to enter the house, but Ms. Lu didn't agree with anything she said and said with a bluff, "What on earth do you want to do? If you don't explain yourself clearly, I will call you." "Auntie, Please don't shout. I'm just here to borrow something to save my life, and I'll return it to you in a moment, Qian begged. Ms. Lu had never seen Mrs. Qian like this before, and she heard that she was trying to save her life. She really thought that something had happened to her family, so she immediately let her into the house. Unexpectedly, Mr. Qian just took the box and ran away. Only then did Mr. Lu know what Mr. Qian wanted to do, and immediately shouted for someone. In order to save her son, Qian didn't care about anything and ran all the way home. Seeing that Yang Fugui was okay, she immediately breathed a sigh of relief, took out the key from the box and threw it out the door. There is the thing, take it yourself. Mao Erli was so eager to save people that he didn't care to argue with Qian, so he threw Yang Fugui away to pick up the key. Qian took the opportunity to close the door and bolt it. Mao Erli got the key and was about to rescue Mao Dali when he saw a group of villagers rushing toward him menacingly. Mao Erli turned around and slammed the door. Bitch! How dare you bring in reinforcements? I will definitely kill your whole family. Qian was frightened in the room, and her face turned pale when she heard the other party's threat. I don't have it, it has nothing to do with me. Mao Erli saw that the villagers were about to kill him, so he gritted his teeth and fled towards the mountain. Qian was relieved when she heard the village chief knocking on the door. She rolled and climbed out of the door. Before the village chief and the others could question her, she burst into tears. He arrested my rich family and threatened me. I won't steal the key from him, I'm going to kill my rich family. I was forced to do so. The villager's questioning words were stuck in his throat. When he looked into the house, he happened to see Yang Fugui, who was frightened. His whole body was trembling, which was obviously abnormal. The village chief frowned and asked loudly, where is Yang Do? Where is the others after such a big incident happened to his family? End of this chapter. Dressed as a mother-in-law, she leads the whole family to turn over. Author, Bamboo Fence Tea. Chapter 57. Chapter 57 Yang Do counterattacks. A villager who was following him said loudly, I seem to have seen him go into the mountains after noon today. At this time, everyone in the family was on the mountain. The village chief secretly thought that something was wrong and hurriedly shouted, hurry up and beat the gongs and drums to go into the mountain to arrest people. Also, remind the villagers to pay attention to safety. In addition, people should be sent to watch over at the ancestral hall. Don't let the other one get away too. The villagers immediately took action. Mao Erli, who was running up the mountain, had no other thoughts at all. He was hungry and tired now. He didn't know if he could win against the villagers. Even when he heard the child's voice, he just avoided it, thinking and waiting. When it gets dark, he sneaks into the village to find a way to save Mao Dali. Before he could find a place to hide, the sound of gongs suddenly came from the bottom of the mountain. Mao Erli's expression changed, he gritted his teeth and went straight up the tree. At this moment, a man turned out from the trail. Mao Erli saw the man's face clearly through the gaps in the leaves. Without stopping, he jumped down from the tree and rushed toward the opponent. Yang Do was attacked inexplicably. He struggled the ground and couldn't see the appearance of the person behind him. Mao Erli strangled Yang Do's neck and said with a cruel smile, if you want to blame it, it's that stinky woman. If she hadn't cheated I ran away a long time ago, and your whole family deserves to die. Yang Do was pinched so much that his veins popped out, and his eyes were bloodshot. People always have unlimited potential when they encounter life-threatening situations. He just happened to be holding an axe in his hand, and he immediately pushed back with all his strength. Mao Erli almost hurt his eyes by the branch behind Yang Do and had to let go. When Yang Do had a chance to escape, he grabbed the axe and chopped at Mao Erli. The honest man was so fierce that he chased Mao Erli and hacked at him as if he was desperate for his life. Mao Erli didn't have any weapons, and he had been tortured for a long time. He was so weak that he didn't dare to fight anymore and ran away in a hurry. Yang Do swung his axe and ran after Mao Erli's escape direction. Mao Erli ran all the way without being able to get rid of the tail behind him, so he could only grit his teeth and continue running up the mountain. Seeing that there was no way ahead, they both stopped. Mao Erli said, "You have something to say. I can make a deal with you. As long as you let me go, I promise not to touch your whole family." "I'll chop you to death," Yang Do shouted and rushed towards Mao Erli. The people who were searching for Mao Erli at the foot of the mountain heard the sound and rushed up the mountain one after another. Seeing that Yang Do was being unreasonable, Mao Erli had no choice but to go up to him, dodging while trying to seize Yang Do's axe. The two argued for a long time, but Yang Do could not hurt Mao Erli. He went crazy and immediately attacked Mao Erli. Hit the cliff hard. Mao Erli subconsciously grabbed Yang Do, and they both fell down. The villagers who caught up were so frightened that their faces turned pale, and the whole mountain was filled with screams. The villagers who reacted quickly rushed down the mountain. The most important thing now was to save people. Mao Erli could die, but nothing could happen to the people in their own village. Because Qian was threatened by Mao Erli, she did not dare to stay at home alone with her child, so she hugged Yang Fugui and followed a group of men. She was relieved when she heard someone fell down the cliff with Mao Erli. Secretly praying that Mao Erli would die like this, so that their family would be safe. Others think the same thing. Yang Do's cousin Yang Meng asked curiously, "Do you know who followed Mao Erli and fell down the mountain?" The visitor hurriedly said, "It seems to be Yang Do." "Nonsense. You're talking nonsense." Qian's voice behind him suddenly became sharp, and he rushed forward regardless. "How could my man fall down the mountain with Mao Erli? Let me tell you. Don't blame me for being rude if you continue to talk nonsense." Qian's behavior made all the men frown, but they didn't want to be in the same league as her. At this moment, two people rushed over panting and shouted, "We found Yang Do and Mao Erli." Yang Do's leg was broken and he was covered in blood. Fortunately, he is okay and still alive. Mao Erli is already gone. He died. Upon hearing this, everyone immediately abandoned Qian and ran to the village. Ms. Qian was completely panicked, with runny nose and tears. She hugged the child and walked away crying. Yang Do was not dead yet, so she acted as if she was attending a funeral. After receiving the news, Old Man Yang and Ms. Li rushed to the west of the village. They were so frightened by Yang fighting for blood that they turned pale. Ms. Li rolled her eyes on the spot and fainted. Old Man Yang had no idea and begged the villagers for help. It was almost dark now, so the villagers got a wheelbarrow, and everyone worked together to get Yang Do on it, and hurried to the town. Yang Santi also went to watch the fun and came back to deliver a message to Zhongning. Hearing this, Lu Ye's expression suddenly changed. "Mommy, I don't know what's going on at Grandpa's side. It's best to let Erden take the money to take a look. We have to go to Grandma's side." Zhongning hurriedly asked Yang Erden and Yang Santi to chase Old Man Yang with the money, while he carried a basket with some food and took Liu Yi and a pair of young children to the old house. Because Mrs. Li fainted in the old house, Mrs. Zhou was very anxious, scared and worried. Her eyes were still red. She had obviously cried. When she saw Zhongning and the others coming, she visibly breathed a sigh of relief, and did not wait for Zhongning to speak. Then he said, "My mother hasn't woken up yet, and I don't know what to do." The third child went to town again. Zhongning put the basket down and quickly walked into Li's room. He pinched her philtrum and pressed several commonly used acupuncture points. Li finally responded. When she slowly opened her eyes, she found a bunch of people surrounding her, and asked, "Where is the second child? How is he?" Zhongning looked at Zhou. Mrs. Zhou hurriedly replied, "It has been sent to the Hong'an Hall in the town. Don't worry, Mom, my second uncle will be fine if you come to pay your respects." Ms. Li didn't know what she was thinking of, and her tears burst instantly. "Why do you think my life is so miserable? I just gave away a son this year, and now another son has an accident. Why is it not me who is in trouble? Anyang, what happened today was an accident and has nothing to do with you, Zhang Ning said with a serious face. Lu Ye nodded repeatedly, Grandma, my mother-in-law is right. This happened on the mountain today, and no one wanted it. Li shook her head, her voice hoarse, then why is it the second child instead of someone else? Zhou and Zhang Ning exchanged glances and said weakly, Auntie, this matter may have something to do with the second sister-in-law. She stole the key and let Mao Erli go, but she was threatened by Mao Erli instead. I don't know what happened between them. What happened? Mao Erli even threatened to kill his second sister-in-law and his whole family. Perhaps Mao Erli happened to run into his second uncle Li Gui when he was fleeing into the mountains, and that's when he started to murder. When Mrs. Li heard this, she was furious. Where's Mr. Qian? Where's that stinky woman? Ms. Zhou said helplessly, second sister-in-law didn't come. Li felt dizzy and almost fainted again from the anger. Zhang Ning comforted him and said, Auntie, I think we have to wait for news from the village chief about this matter. Let's see what the village chief says. It's dark now, so even if you want to ask the Qian family for questioning, you won't be able to do it. Okay. Let's wait until dawn. I want to see what Qian has to say. If she can't give a reasonable explanation, I will force my second son to divorce her, Li gritted her teeth in anger. End of this chapter. Dressed as a mother-in-law, she leads the whole family to turn over. Author, Bamboo Fence Tea. Chapter 58. Chapter 58, Misfortunes Never Come Singly. Seeing that Mrs. Li was fine, Zhang Ning left the room and whispered to Mrs. Zhou, you are the only ones at home tonight. Be more alert. If you need help, call the people next door for help, or ask someone to come to the east of the village to find me. I will go back first. Yeah, sister-in-law, I understand. You should be careful on the road. This was the first time Zhou was so reluctant to leave Jiangning. Yang Laosan and old man Yang came back before dawn the next day. Zhou and Li both ran out and asked, how is it? How is the second child doing? Old man Yang looked exhausted. He sat on the threshold and sighed, my life has been saved. It's a pity that my leg didn't work. I think he will be like Yang Yang in the future, unable to do any heavy work. Ms. Li was so shocked that she fell to the ground and cried loudly, how could this happen? How could the second child be so miserable? The rich man is still young, what should he do with his family? At this time, the village chief also came over with a few men with serious faces. Seeing Mrs. Li crying like this, they couldn't say anything. It was old man Yang who signaled Ms. Li to be quiet, so Ms. Li could endure it. The village chief said, Yang Zhang. We all know what happened to Yang Do. Although the leg failed, luckily he saved his life. Mao Erli is a threat to our village. Yang Do can be regarded as doing something for the village this time. After making a great contribution, I will arrange for villagers to help with his farm work in the future, so there won't be any big problems. Li looked up at the village chief and others in surprise, and stopped crying. The village chief changed the subject, but I still want to tell you the ins and outs of this matter. I asked Mao Dali. It was Qian who provoked them first and asked them to help carry things back. Qian didn't know. What do you think? You went to my house to steal the keys for their help? How can dangerous people like the Mao brothers be easy to get along with? In the end, Ms. Qian was arrested by Mao Erli and threatened by Fugui. She ran to my house and snatched the second key, and that's how the whole thing happened. Old man Yang and Ms. Li were already mad at the news. The old couple yelled at Ms. Qian in the yard. Li originally wanted Yang Laoer to divorce Qian, but now that Yang Laoer's leg was broken, she didn't say anything anymore. Apart from being incompetent and furious, she really couldn't do anything to Qian. The village chief and others also scolded Ms. Qian and listed all her evil deeds in detail. This side of the village. When Qian learned that Yang Do's leg was disabled, she felt like the sky was falling. She started crying and cursing in the yard. Yang Dia and Yang Area were so frightened that they hid in the house and did not dare to come out. After noon today, the two sisters kept talking. While working in the mountains, they didn't know that something big had happened at home. Seeing their parents like this now, they felt very frightened. Yang Area thought that the Qian family loved Yang Fuegui the most, and immediately went to shake Yang Fuegui to wake him up. Unexpectedly, he couldn't wake him up no matter how he screamed. Then he realized that something was wrong and screamed loudly, "Auntie, something happened to my brother." Qian was startled by the sound, rushed into the house in panic, groped Yang Fuegui several times, and found that his head was frighteningly hot, and she was frightened to tears. Yang Dia was calmer and quickly went to nearby villagers for help. Yang Dujia was in chaos again. Before the people at the old house could fully recover, they received the news that Yang Fuegui had a high fever. This time, Ms. Li did not dare to faint. She rushed to the west of the village while crying. When she arrived, she found that only Yang Area and Yang Do were at home. She asked hurriedly, "Where are your aunt and your brother?" Sister Anyang took her younger brother to the town to find a doctor. When Yang Area saw Ms. Li, she instantly had a backbone and burst into tears. Mr. Li was in such a mess that she didn't even bother to comfort Yang Area, so she hurriedly went to the house to see Yang Do. Yang Do heard the sound and slowly opened his eyes. Seeing that he was awake, Ms. Li immediately breathed a sigh of relief and said, "Second brother, don't worry. I asked the third child to go to the town to see if anything will happen to Fuegui." Yang Do nodded slightly and said, "Mom, I want to relieve myself." Since he came home at dawn, Qian has only cried or made trouble, and has not cared about him at all. He was also anxious when he knew that Fuegui was sick, but Qian didn't even come over to say a word to him. He only had a little daughter at home, and he was embarrassed. "I let my little daughter take care of me, so I kept holding it back." As soon as Mr. Li heard this, he quickly helped. Zhou took her children to the east of the village when it was already bright. Zhang Ning saw her coming and immediately pulled her to sit down, and took a candy for Yang Legui. "How is it?" Zhou held it all in, and saw Zhang Ning immediately spouting out what she knew, her chest heaving violently. "In the past, it was okay for my second sister-in-law to be stupid, I could bear it, and I accepted that she didn't like me. We are all a family anyway, man. In the end, my mother-in-law also gave me 30 blows each. In addition, I am too clumsy to win an argument, and I don't like to talk. But this time I really can't bear it, you know." It turns out that these things were caused by the second sister-in-law, and Fuegui's father was implicated by the second sister-in-law. As for the mother-in-law, the second sister-in-law didn't come over to take a look after she fainted yesterday. News came from there today that Fuegui had a high fever, and now father and mother-in-law came to help him again. We are all a family, and we must help if something goes wrong. I have nothing to say, but the second sister-in-law is too unkind. She got into trouble, but she didn't say anything, and let everyone else be busy for their family. Zhou is not a person who likes to be picky and fussy. To make her so angry shows Qian's ability. Yang Santi listened to the sidelines and couldn't help shouting happily, "Fortunately, we are no longer related to them. Such relatives are really unlucky for 8 lifetimes." Zhang Ning glared at him, "Where did you learn that? What nonsense are you talking about?" Yang Santi immediately sneered and said, "I learned from Aunt Zhang. She went to the west of the village to scold Granny Qiwa that day, and I heard her." Zhang Ning then remembered Aunt Qiwa's matchmaking for Yang Xiao, and felt speechless for a while. Don't keep learning those things that are available and not available in the future. She was a little worried that some of the children had been taught wrongly, especially Yang Santi. This kid was both good and evil, and was incredibly smart. If he was taught well, he would be very promising in the future. If he was not taught well, he would probably become a cancer in society. Jiang Ning suddenly felt that there was a long way to go. Zhou said angrily, "What are you doing to teach Santi a lesson? He's quite good." "Hey. I just came here to sit here because I feel aggrieved and have nothing to say. I also went to Qingfeng Mountain to have a look. I didn't know that my second sister-in-law was going to Qingfeng Mountain. Fengshan got something good, and he hid it so no one would know, and would rather touch the tigers than call us." Jiang Ning couldn't help but burst into laughter. Yang Santi and Lu Ye also laughed, but the three of them didn't say anything. Jiang Ning said to Zhou, "There are relatively few villagers going to Qingfeng Mountain. Many wild fruits are ripe now, so we can get some back. I will also go to the mountain with you for a walk. If you come to Gigi, you can stay at home with Sizhuang. Let's play." Jiang Ning looked at Lu Ye as he spoke, "Please take inventory of the things at home, and we will set off the day after tomorrow." Zhou looked confused. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dressed as a mother-in-law, she leads the whole family to turn over. Author, Bamboo Fensti. Chapter 59. Chapter 59. The Qian Family. Jiang Ning explained, "I plan to let Yezi go to DTOU. It has been difficult for the young couple to get married until now. The family has finally recovered, and I don't want them to be separated forever. I will take her to DTOU the day after tomorrow." Mrs. Zhou looked at Jiang Ning in surprise, and after a while she said, "Sister-in-law. You are so different now that I don't even dare to recognize you. You would never say such things before." In the past, Jiang Ning would not work if she could. She could even order a 3-year-old child. When Data was only 3 years old, she would ask her to go to the field to pull onions. Zhou couldn't stand it and said a few words. Jiang Ning was scolded, and Zhou didn't say anything after that, but she always remembered Jiang Ning's evil deeds. Jiang Ning twitched the corner of his mouth and changed the subject. "There are a lot of things on the mountains in autumn. What are you going to get back?" "I don't know. Let's see if there is anything good. If not, you can get some wild vegetables and fruits. Dad said he wants to build 2 new houses in the backyard. Like your house, it will definitely cost money to build a house. Save as much as you can," Zhou said rather helplessly. Jiang Ning suggested, "You can let Dad and Lao San take over the work. There must be people who want to build houses in the village. As long as Dad and Lao San promise that they can build a house like mine, there will definitely be people interested. As for the price, it depends. Their ability." Not to mention, Mrs. Zhou was really moved, but she was still a little worried. "My sister-in-law taught me the method of burning shell ash, so it's not very good for them to use it like this." Jiang Ning shook his head. "There's nothing wrong with it. As long as you order oyster shells from me, I can still earn some hard-earned money." "That's definitely no problem." Ms. Zhou breathed a sigh of relief, and the smile on her face deepened. After the two of them entered the mountain, they really saw a lot of good things, especially Jiang Ning. As long as she saw an unknown wild fruit and touched it, the system would report the information, and if it was edible, it would also provide instructions on how to eat it. She picked up everything she saw, many of which Zhou had never seen before. Zhou asked confused. Jiang Ning said, "I plan to take some back and see if I can make jam." Zhou didn't say anything after hearing this. During this period, Jiang Ning also discovered several wild persimmon trees. The ripe red persimmons had been eaten by either insects or birds. The unripe persimmons were hard and astringent, but no animals dared to eat them. Zhou went around in a circle and picked only a few that were about to be ripe, leaving the others untouched. Jiang Ning silently noted the location and planned to take the children up the mountain to collect persimmons later. It was almost noon when the two of them came home from the mountain. Luya heated the rice in a pot and was about to serve it to Jiangning when suddenly Li's mournful cry came from outside. The mother-in-law and daughter-in-law were heartbroken and hurried out to open the door. Li just walked to the door and went straight into the yard. When she saw Jiangning, she pulled her and begged without saying a word, "My dear, how much money do you have left? Can you lend me some first?" Jiangning looked surprised. "Mom, what's going on? What's going on?" Mrs. Li was crying and scolding, "It's all the fault of Mr. Qian's fault. If she hadn't been for Fugui, she wouldn't have been frightened out of her mind. The third child just came back from town and said that Fugui's situation was not good and he had a high fever. Qian didn't take any money with him when he went out, and the third child gave away all the money he had. I asked the second son to get the money. The second son used the money from selling the grain to build a house, and he used the little he had left. Your father-in-law and I haven't sold the grain yet, and it's too late to sell it now. You can lend me some first. I will give you the money later." Seeing that Mrs. Li was anxious, Jiangning directly gave her 300 coins. "You can take these back first. If you don't have enough, we won't worry about it. Also, it won't be your and Daddy's turn to pay back the money. I'll ask Mr. Qian for it later." Mr. Li paused, knowing that Jiangning and Mr. Qian were not getting along, so she didn't say anything, took the money and ran to the village. Luya was a little worried. "Auntie, how about we wait a few more days before leaving?" Jiangning shook his head. "No, we have severed ties with our second husband a long time ago. We have already done our best to lend money to them now. The rest has nothing to do with us." Luya thought about it and said nothing more. This side of the old house. Li returned home with 300 yuan and asked Yang Laosan to send it to the town quickly. Yang Laosan had to go out non-stop before he could take a breath when he came back. When he arrived at Hong'an Hall, he found that only Yang Dia and Old Man Yang were guarding Yang Fugui, and Qian was missing. "Where is the second sister-in-law?" Old Man Yang frowned and said dissatisfiedly, "She said she went back to her parents' home to borrow money." "She went to her parents' home closer than you did back to the village. You are back but she has no trace and you don't know what she is doing." Old Man Yang's dissatisfaction with Qian reached its peak. Yang Laosan couldn't say much, so he quickly gave the money to the doctor and asked, "By the way, doctor, how is my nephew's condition?" The doctor shook his head. "It's hard to say. We have to wait until people wake up to find out. If you are really an elder, the child was sent here after it was burned like this." "Oh." The doctor seemed to want to complain, but because the child's parents were not here, he couldn't complain to Old Man Yang and the others. "The three people here have been guarding Yang Fugui, and they were relieved until Yang Fugui's fever subsided in the evening." Old Man Yang came to his senses and asked Yang Dia, "Your mother-in-law hasn't come back yet?" Yang Dia nodded. It was only then that the three of them realized that something was wrong. Old Yang quickly asked Yang Laosan to go to Qian's natal home. Qian's natal family is located in Qinjiazhuang on the outskirts of the town. It only takes 2/4 of an hour to go there. When Yang Laosan went to Qian's house to inquire, he found out that Qian had not come back at all. Mrs. Chen, Qian's mother, asked with a straight face, "We married the girl to your Yang family properly, but now that my girl is missing, you have to give an explanation." Yang Laosan was speechless. He was too stupid to argue, and he was anxious, so he stamped his feet and said, "You can find out for yourself, I have to leave first." As soon as Mr. Yang left, Mr. Chen gave up and immediately asked Mr. Qian and his two sons to catch up. The Qian family chased them to the hospital and saw Yang Fugui, who was very ill. When they heard what Qian had done from the Old Man Yang's mouth, everyone's eyes widened. Old Man Qian subconsciously denied it. "Impossible. It's impossible for my daughter to do such a thing. It's definitely a slander." Old Man Yang sneered, "Are you slandering me? Ask her when you see her." From the time her man was injured to the time her child got sick, she has never done anything decent. She agreed to go back to her parents' house to borrow money, and my third child borrowed money from the village. When the money came back, she was nowhere to be seen. I would like to ask you how the Qian family taught their daughter. With so many people watching at the hospital, you can ask yourself whether what I said is true or not. The doctor directly confirmed what old man Yang said. The Qian family couldn't bear to lose face and said harshly, "My sister has been married to the Yang family for so many years. She would not be like this in her natal family. It must be your Yang family's problem." Drink. "You still want to beat me up?" Old man Yang got angry and shouted to the people around him, "Let's all judge. The girl from the Qian family didn't teach her well and brought trouble to my Yang family. Now she says it's our Yang family's fault. Speaking of seeing old age at the age of 3, our Yang family is not that capable of changing Qian's gender." End of this chapter. Dressed as a mother-in-law, she leads the whole family to turn over. Author, Bamboo Fence Tea. Chapter 60. Chapter 60. Mao Dali is dead. Yes, yes. It's so outrageous. How can anyone be such a mother-in-law? An old man running a stall opposite witnessed what happened to the Yang family and immediately spoke enthusiastically for the Yang family. A woman immediately said, "I'm confused. My mother's child is so sick, and she still stares at the snacks at the stall. I really don't know what she is thinking." Everyone was talking against the Qian family, and the Qian family, father and son, were forced to flee. Old man Yang scolded the Qian family and drove away. He immediately thanked those who spoke uprightly and then looked sad again. Dr. Honggentang prescribed medicine for Yang Fugui for 7 days and said to old man Yang, "It's a total of 220 coins. If the child is fine after taking the medicine, take good care of him. Don't let him go out and wander around during this period. If he eats if the medicine is not ready yet, please bring it over and take a look." Old man Yang thanked him again and again, and asked Yang Lao-san to carry Yang Fugui on his back, and the 4 of them hurried back to the village. As soon as they entered the village, they met Yang Jun, who was running towards them. "Uncle Zhang, it's bad, Mr. Qian has killed Mao Dali." "What do you mean?" Old Yang's hands shook, his legs went weak, and he almost couldn't stand. Yang Dia's face turned pale with fright. Yang Jun looked anxious. "Hurry up and have a look at the ancestral hall, I don't know what to say." Old man Yang hurriedly turned back and said to Yang Lao-san, "Bring Fugui and Ya back to your mother-in-law first, and I'll go to the ancestral hall." "Daddy, don't worry, I'll be there in a minute." Yang Lao-san was also at a loss for words at this moment, and he ran towards home with the child in his arms. Old man Yang ran all the way to the ancestral hall and found a man lying in the open space outside the ancestral hall, covered with a white cloth. He had already died, and there was a large pool of blood under his body. Qian's eyes were unfocused and he was huddled in the corner with an expressionless face. Old man Yang ran to the village chief, his eyes widened. "What's going on? Why did she kill someone?" Even now, old man Yang still doesn't want to believe that Qian killed Mao Dali. The village chief sighed and pointed to several villagers who had witnessed the whole process. They all saw it. This incident was also an accident. Qian believed that it was the Mao brothers who had harmed their family. When he came back from town, he aggressively wanted to find Mao Dali. To settle the score, he even said that he would pay for it with his life. The two had a dispute. Qian was pushed down by Mao Dali. He immediately lost his mind and picked up an adobe brick and threw it at Mao Dali. Mao Dali dodged. Unexpectedly, Qian used all his strength to knock Mao Dali down. His head happened to hit the piece of adobe. His body twitched for a while and then stopped. We had already put away the iron chain. Now that a life has happened, I have to report it to the official, but don't worry, I have told the villagers that this incident was an accident, and everyone can testify that Jian will be imprisoned for a few years at most, and will not be exiled. When Jian heard that he was going to jail, he became excited. I won't go to jail, I won't go to jail. He deserves to die, he deserves to die. It has nothing to do with me. Seeing Jian's crazy energy, old man Yang shed a few tears silently, gritted his teeth and closed his eyes. Let's do it. The village chief immediately sent someone to report to the official. Yang Santi finished watching the process and hurried back to report the news to Jiangning. Jiangning had just peeled the 2 baskets of hard persimmons he had picked and put them on a shelf to dry in the shade. When he heard the news, he quickly took the things with him to the village. At this time, old man Yang has returned to his old house. Mrs. Li is not here, so he probably went to the west of the village to take care of Mr. Yang. The atmosphere in the old house was solemn, and her arrival made everyone's expressions relax. Mrs. Zhou said anxiously, "Sister-in-law, I really didn't expect that the second sister-in-law would go to Mao Dali to cause trouble. How can we deal with this matter now?" Jiangning looked a little solemn and asked old man Yang, "Dad, what did the village chief say?" "The village chief means that this incident was an accident. The villagers will testify for Jian, but jail is inevitable." Old man Yang sighed again. Jiangning breathed a sigh of relief inexplicably. "My family has severed ties with my second wife, and the paperwork has been filed with the county government. His family's affairs will not affect my family, but I still have to remind you to protect Jian's family as much as possible. If a murderer has appeared in our village in the future, the marriage of girls and boys in the village will become a problem, and it will also affect the reputation of our village, which is not good for anyone. Of course, these are just the impacts on the people in the village, and they will have a greater impact on you. If it is proven that the Jian family deliberately killed people, they will not be able to go to school in the future. There is also the Jian family. I heard that the Jian family has, even if a child is in school, his future will be ruined because of Jian." "Old man, are you telling the truth?" Old man Yang was shocked. He had never heard of this and didn't understand it. Yang Laosan and Mr. Zhou were even more frightened and their faces turned pale, and they had no idea at all. Jiangning nodded slightly. "These are all what I heard from hearsay. You have to ask the county government officials to know the specific situation, but no matter what, Mao Dali's death can only be an accident. You must make this clear to the villagers." "Yes, yes, yes. You have to make it clear. Third child, come with me to the village chief's house." Old Yang was so anxious that he walked out overnight. Jiangning walked out of the house after explaining everything clearly, and happened to see Yang Dia coming out of the house carrying hot water. Yang Dia looked at her timidly and shouted, "Auntie." Ye Jiangning only responded softly. Her attitude was neither salty nor cool. She said that she would not hit the smiling person with her hands, and she had no intention of correcting the child's name for her. Zhou sent Jiangning outside, worried. "Sister-in-law, do you think this can be done?" "Whether he can succeed depends on the village chief's ability." Jiangning smiled slightly and disappeared into the darkness without looking back. At dawn the next day, a group of yeomen came to the village. The leader was a weak scholar, who must be the master. Next to him was a middle-aged man with a goatee, carrying a large box, who was probably a gangster. Jiangning came to the village early in the morning and watched with his own eyes as they surrounded the bodies of Mao Dali and Mao Erli. He made a brief preliminary inspection of the bodies and whispered a few words in the master's ear. The master immediately changed his face and asked, "Why are there traces of chains on the feet of the deceased?" The village chief stepped forward in fear and explained, "Sir, this is not what we want. These Mao brothers are not good people. They hurt Jian as soon as they entered the village, and then they became enemies with Jian. They also set fire to us originally. We planned to send them to the government office, but we also went to the county government office to ask about it. The county government official should still have an impression of this. They said that the county magistrate has not yet taken office and has already made the registration. It will not be processed until the county magistrate takes office. We can only come back first. Originally, they only needed to pay for this matter. The problem is that they have no money and are not willing to cooperate honestly. They had no choice but to let them use labor to pay off their debts. In order to prevent them from escaping, we gave them chains. Apart from the chains, we didn't do anything to them. We even ate and drank the same as everyone else. When you look at these 2 rooms, you just listen to them burn them down and then rebuild them. It's built and will be almost completed in 2 days. We originally planned to send them to the county government and hand them over to the county magistrate after they were completed. Who knew it would turn out like this? The master did not listen to the village chief's words and asked with a cold face, "Where are they from? Why are they in Rongsha village?" The villagers looked at Mr. Qian. End of this chapter.